know, Alicia is now dead. Cops say the situation does not meet the criteria for an Amber Alert. Investigators have claimed various things, that too much time had elapsed between the time Alicia and her children were last physically seen and when they were reported missing, a total of 2 weeks. Gaitan Borders, president of Peas in Their Pod, you are the nation's leading advocate for missing children, among them. They've got a car. They've issued an alert for this burgundy Impala that they're looking for with a license plate CCR 1286. Why on earth, with two helpless children, 8 months and 6 years old, that cannot survive on their own and have been missing 2 weeks, have cops not said, hey, let's do an Amber Alert?
You tell me, Jane, seriously. I mean, I get so sick and tired when I hear that the criteria has not been met. Then change the criteria if it's not working. There are these two children out there, defenseless. God knows what has happened to them. And right now we're talking about cadaver dogs when we could have just simply issued the Amber Alert. It doesn't matter if too much time had passed. That, to me, would signify the urgency as to move fast. Clearly, if their mom is found, body members dismembered, bullets, it's obviously a grisly scene, and those children were taken from her. I'm sure they weren't taken to have ice cream. That's all I'm saying. If there's a problem with it, change it.
Jane, let's go out to the phone lines. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say, I went to the U.S. Department of Justice's website to look at the criteria for when an Amber Alert should be issued. And there's nothing on those guidelines and criteria that says there's anything about this lapse of time. Now, states don't have to follow those guidelines. They get to set their own. But the U.S. Department of Justice's guidelines don't mention this lapse of time. Let me ask you
a question. And, you know, this is a difficult question. But do you think that the fact that this is happening in an inner city and this mother has a rap sheet, which we'll get to in a second. It's not long, but she did have one violent confrontation in the past. Do you think that her socioeconomic status, even her race, has something to do with the lack of an Amber Alert being issued?
That question always comes to mind. I was taken back to the Hannah Anderson case, and we know an Amber Alert and a national search resulted in us finding Hannah. So whenever these cases, you know, come up, the issue of disparities in the criminal justice system, the issue of how African Americans and poor people are treated has to be a question that we all ask. And in this case, there just doesn't appear to be any justification, particularly given those guidelines, why an Amber Alert cannot be issued, and we can't
Let's go out to the phone lines.
Those kids.
Not